Hello, Jane Fays here from Sydney, Australia. Well, today I thought I'd just talk you through the process of laser image transfer as opposed to magazine image transfer. So this uses my own photos printed on a laser printer. So this is a recent collage I have done, excuse me, with one of my photos, and this was taken in Hanoi in Vietnam. And so what it is a black and white photo enlarged onto an A4 and printed. So the original photo was obviously in color, but I've adapted it in a image software program, which I'll talk you through in a moment. So this is just a collage I have done with the photo transferred onto tissue as the focal point, and I've just surrounded it with some industrial style collage. So I've included some text of where we are. I've got some rust printed papers, which I have done with some big rusty objects that I have here, and just some poster fragments, some book pages, stamping some various lettering and old books underneath. So that just gives you an idea of what you can do with a laser image transfer of perhaps some of your travel photos, which could then be framed. Oops, sorry about the camera wobble. You could, collage and frame, and I'm sure there's so many other options what you can do. So this gives you an idea of the original photo. And as I flick through some of these photos, these are just a few of my thousands of my photos that I've taken over the years. And what I have done is taken those photos, those coloured photos, taken on a good quality digital camera, taken them into a program called Adobe Lightroom, where I convert them to black and white, and really just ramp up the blacks, really darken the blacks, lighten or whiten the lights. Oh, I'm sticking to my plate here. Sorry about that. And I'm really just keeping the contrast very, very high. And that's a floor of a church in Venice. You can actually see my feet there. And so there's just a variety of photos. And then once I've done that, you need to print them off on a good quality, a really good quality laser printer. Now that does vary a lot. And with these actual ones, I did take them down to my local copy centre, and they don't cost much when they're just black and white, but I've enlarged them all quite big and saved them onto a USB, taken them down and just said, print them off on the best quality paper and the best quality print. So these just give you an idea. This is Frindola in Italy. This is Cuba, Havana in Cuba. I think this was just in Paris, such beautiful details. Bath in England, and again Frindola. And this was Highbury Cemetery in London. So lots of beautiful, and this was a gate in Siena, and this is the one I'm going to pull now and to show you. So you really do need good quality laser print, and that's an experimental thing. I can't recommend particular printers and toners over others. That's really just something you just have to sadly experiment with. So I do find that the laser prints need a little bit more paint on the plate than that for your magazine image transfer. So I'm just putting that paint layer down now and really evening it out, making sure that it's, while it is a little bit thicker than the magazine layers that I put down, it is still very even. So really just making that nice and even, but a generous layer but not too much, not too grainy. And then I'm going to put this down. Hopefully not too many air bubbles. Really making that good contact with the plate. Nice and firm to touch. I don't leave it on too long. Again, that's another trick I think is a bit different. So that's a little bit grainy compared to what it can be. It can become quite dark, but I think that will look quite nice on the tissue anyway. So I'm just going to dry that with my hairdryer. So excuse the noise. I don't speed it up. Tell everyone that the hairdryer needs to be quite cool, and you need to be very careful of the gel plate. It is a really warm day here in Sydney, so it would dry quickly anyway. But just to speed it up for the sake of the camera and for your video, so that you're not sitting around waiting. I think it's helpful to see how long things take in real time. And it is important to allow that black, in this case I use black, to dry thoroughly, or else once you start adding the matte medium, it'll obviously smudge the black and really take it into the whites, which will spoil the contrast that you're trying to create. So I use matte medium and art tissue, and I do them like I'm quite predictable and do this all the time, because I feel that being onto tissue in black allows the greater number of possibilities for me to then develop and to use these prints in my artwork. As you can see, I have, quite a selection here of tissue prints that I've done, and it gives me the opportunity to just have a stash, and then make a decision on how I'd like to incorporate these. So that gives you an idea of some of my stash that I have. And I'm just going to now apply my matte medium with a clean brayer compared to the one that I put my black on. So preferable not to mix. I mean, you can wash it in between, definitely, but I have the advantage of having two brayers. So really making sure that that matte medium is completely covering your plate to lift the full image. And laying it down, catching that front edge, and then I'm just going to pull that tissue down. I've really tried to eliminate the creases, and I mostly have over that center, but that's okay, that's really part of it. And that feels, quite squishy under my hand, so I know it's wet. I could leave it to dry naturally if I was patient, but I'm not. So get out my trusty hairdryer and give it a bit of a burst. Not too hot. I just absolutely love this gate. It's one of my favourite photos. I haven't incorporated it into a collage yet, so I really should do that very soon. I've actually used this print several times for image transfer. I just find that the photo has come up beautifully, and therefore it contrasts well. And just the details, the shadows that are created in the wrought iron is quite beautiful. I hope I'm not talking it up too much. I hope it feels okay. Okay, I think that should do us. And now I'll just pull it off at this front edge here. It's brought up quite a few of the edges, which is lovely. As you can see, some of the creases are left on the plate, and it's come up really nicely. So there we go. Oh, sorry, I'll just leave that there. It isn't as strong a print as sometimes I can get, but that is the beauty of gel printing. It really is no two prints are the same. It's called a mono printing method. Monoprint meaning one, you only get one, but almost every one is different from the previous one or the next one. So it keeps you guessing, it keeps you learning, and it's enjoyable. So I hope this method of using your own photos, especially the architectural ones, and which I've got, as I said, thousands of, and I'll show you in the next video how to do some of your photos of people on a laser image transfer. So thanks for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.